Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the question of will there ever be a race war? So for this video, I will discuss in a simple and straightforward way so anyone can understand it, even those unfamiliar with the topic. Um, the question of if there ever truly will be a race war, okay? So now I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of will there ever be a race war, of course, let's be specific and honest, specifically referring to America, this idea that there will be a race war between black and white people. The simple answer to that question, I simply believe at this point in history, believe it or not, is no. I don't think there ever will be a race war. Now, the reason why I say I don't believe there will ever be a race war is it simply comes down to one main fact, okay? When it comes to that particular topic, which is the simple fact of the matter that it simply is just not how the world works anymore, okay? And the reason why I say it's not the way the world works anymore is that it simply comes down to the fact that when it comes to this particular topic, it's just not really a necessity anymore. And the reason why, or it's not something up for consideration anymore is because of the political division nowadays. Because this is the thing that people don't understand about that type of thing, okay? That specifically people living in the South who've been hyping up for years there's going to be some race war. The whites in the South, particularly as usual, always causing problems. Let's be honest. I ain't saying all, but a lot of them really do cause problems, in honesty is that those people have been hyping up for years. Oh, there's gonna be a I think things are getting really bad now between blacks and white people. Even in the 2000s, which politically things are way worse now than it was in the 2000s. People were hyping up saying, "Oh, I think there's gonna be one. I think this and that," and then in the end of the day, it just turns out to be hype. Okay, the truth of the matter is the dynamic between black and white people in the South versus how it's like in other parts of America is different. There's some places white and black people get along very well. Some places it's more neutral. Like we don't really like each other. We don't really love each other, but at the same time we don't really hate each other and stuff. But you get the point, okay? Like the racial dynamic of how whites and blacks get along is different depending on where you go, if anything, okay? Some places it's bad, some places it's really bad, and some places it's good, and some places it's really good. So it varies, in all honesty, okay? So to think that there'd be some massive situation like that, I highly doubt it. And if it were to kind of be a situation with the way things are going, it would probably just simply turn, into a political situation between left and right. Because a left and right situation, the political divisions you see now, um, between the left and the right wing, that is going on now would simply be a cover for that. Because the thing is, because as I was saying before, a lot of blacks and whites get along quite well in some places, and of course with the political division, of course, looming over everyone's head, um, you know, the left and the left would probably would definitely be more of the situation I'd come up because a lot of white people would automatically, when a situation happens, would, if anything, just simply, like let's just say there was a terrorist bombing against black people, or maybe 50 to 100 black people, or maybe even a few hundred, or God forbid, a few thousand black people die, or something like that. There'd be a lot of white people who would say this is wrong. And would turn and of course because of the political division, and stuff like that, that's already there a lot of them would probably blame the right wing for that, and a lot of white people would start joining the black side and the black cause, and they would start, of course, probably blaming, um, the right wing conservatives, for the problem in this situation. Which of course that's in the worst case scenario possible of what could obviously start a race war. For that matter. Okay, as we all know, for something like that to happen, it'd have to take a situation to happen to make something like that to pop off. And the truth of the matter is, as I was getting at before, with the way things are going, it would not be hard for it to just simply be used as a political tool for the left to turn against the right? So the simple answer to that question is no. I don't believe there will ever be a race war, because a lot of whites would join our side, which would defeat the argument of there will be a race war for that matter, okay? So the truth of the matter is, I don't believe there will be a race war, to be honest with you. It's hype. There definitely could be a political situation, a political war between the left and the right. And for that matter, I don't think that's far-fetched, but the idea of like white and black people just fighting against each other, I just think it's far-fetched. You'd have to have really, 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 really effing PR, a really effing PR attempt to really make something like that happen. I don't think that would happen, in all honesty, to be honest with you. Um, you'd have to do something really bad. And it doesn't even mention the fact that both sides would lose from the situation, okay? Of course, let's be honest, blacks would lose more than whites would lose from us, but even still, whites would lose shit, first and foremost, aside from the fact that, a lot of them consume our music. Just look at TikTok. Literally every song you see for the dance crazes and stuff like that is black music, for that matter, okay? So the truth of the matter is, since most of the music people listen to anyways black related music, they would lose that, because obviously blacks and whites are not getting along anymore, you know and not to mention what happened to sports, and even just things like in like obviously the Olympics and stuff, because black people are the ones who win the most medals for national prestige and all that type of stuff. And of course, obviously, blacks would lose access to a lot of things too, you know, as well, of course, no surprise, infrastructure, and a lot of different things for that matter. So that's the truth of the matter, for that matter. So both sides would lose, and not to mention, obviously, the biggest loss of all, obviously the death toll on both sides. That would, of course, ensue, as the war in Ukraine as well as the war in Afghanistan has shown. Just because someone might have better equipment doesn't mean you still can't take heavy losses on the opposing side, you know, for that matter, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. A lot of black people might take on a lot of white people, and it's already been happening a lot more recently, for crying out loud. So obviously that would of course be a bad thing, having a massive death toll, which on both sides would be quite catastrophic, so the idea that there would truly be a race a race war, when you have to take that into consideration, as well, I don't think that would happen, to answer your question. I don't think there's going to be a race war, because there's just too much that would be online, and too much drama and division and all that stuff that would happen because of it, okay? Not to mention, people have been hyping this up for years. This has been going on since like the 1950s, the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, and even up to the 1990s and 2000s. People have been hyping up there's going to be a race war, there's going to be a race war, there's going to be a race war, and nothing really happens from it. They always say racial tension's getting bad now. I heard it's getting bad now, and this and that, and nothing really comes to fruition from it. This has been going on for freaking years now, and everyone's been hyping this up for years, and nothing has ever really happened. Racial tension might be bad, but I still have yet to see serious proof that it will actually turn into a full out black versus white conflict, for that matter, okay? I just haven't seen evidence to prove it. The situations that have happened, I've just been on a small scale. The idea of a massive scale situation happening, especially when a political situation is so freaking bad now, for crying out loud, which could obviously easily divert it from being between blacks and whites versus between being left and right. With things like that to take into consideration, the idea that there will be a race war, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. It could happen, but it's very unlikely, and that's all I have to say. Okay, so anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it as well as found it informative. Just remember, if you like this video and videos like this, just remember to thumb this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all I have to say. And simply put, I'm out. So bye.